Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to everyone and also to our lecturer, Professor Madya Dr. Sharina Tajul Urus. In this video, we will present about our company, Chocodap Enterprise, on their data management and analysis. So this is our team. I am the group leader, Nazrul Naim bin Basrawi. Together with me, Ainul Fahimi bin Muhammad Nasir, Siti Aminah binti Nasrun, and also Nur Iman Aisyah binti Muhammad Naim. So our slide consists of three parts. First is the introduction of our company. Next is the analysis of our company sales, product, customer, salesmen, branches, and also the overall company performance. And lastly is the conclusion, which is summary of company performance. So let me start first with the company profile. Our company name is Chocodap Enterprise, established at 18 August 2018, and our main HQ is located number 3 Jalan Perindustrian Maju 41200 Kelang, Selangor. And our business main activity is manufacturing and selling chocolate-based product. So this is our company logo, as you can see. Chocodap, and our tagline is Chocolate Heaven. So next, I will pass to my group member to present about the company analysis.
Now I will start with sales transaction analysis. Before that, I will show the dataset for the sales transaction. Okay, this is our data from the sales transaction. As you can see, there is a date, month, sales ID, customer ID, batch ID, salesman, order ID, quantity, cost per unit, selling price, cost, sale, profit, and the payment method. Okay, the data is colored in different way. Therefore, we can identify which month it is. For January, it is peach, and February is blue, and so on. Okay, now we continue with the sales transaction analysis. This is our analysis. We have the pivot table and pivot chart, slicers, and some formula which I will explain later. Okay. Okay. This is the formula used in our sales transaction analysis. The first one is pivot table to look the sum of the sales, cost, and profit. Okay. From this, we can filter up by branch, segment, and product ID. Okay. We also use slicer to filter up, but in more interactive way. For example, the first one is payment weighted, and second one is product ID. The next is pivot chart, which you can show the trend of the sales for the year 2020. Okay. Next is the logical function. Okay. The logical function show we using if to make our logical function to show that if the certain number satisfy requirement. For example, for the first one is bonus. For the bonus, the condition is yes if the total sales is average monthly. So the first one is for the January. If the sale is above the average monthly, it will show yes, and if not, it will show your no. The next one is the sales trend, which is increase if the total sales more than total sales month before, which means for the in January it will show increase because there is nothing, therefore it's more than zero. The February is showing decrease because it is lesser than the January. The next, this also we can see at the next formula, which is the sales trend also, but in more accurate, because in this we can see that the the cell are colored by green and green, and therefore we can see if the green they show an increase, while the is red they show a decrease. There also the number. Okay, the number is we using the statistical function to see how many percent they increase. Therefore, we using the statistical function to calculate the increase from the last month. For example, for February, is showing the decrease of 50%. 15%, 15.91%. Okay, now I will start using explaining the sales analysis. Okay, the overall sale is 82,059 ringgit with average monthly sales of 6,838.25 cents. Okay, from the graph chosen, we can see that the highest sales trend in 2020 is at May, and the worst sale is during October. Okay, below the chart, there also the sales and movement, which show the how many percent increase from the last year. Okay, the January is we can ignore that because it has nothing to compare with. So we start with February and until December. Okay, from the chart, we can see that the August show the major drop in sales compared to month before, which is at 36.64% decrease. Then we also use the payment type to analyze how many our customer using cash or credit. From you can see the customer are preferred using credit but not at large margin. Therefore, it is almost equal, but the some of the customer might prefer using credit. That's all for the sales analysis.
So now we are going to look at the product analysis. So first thing first, we are going to look at the product data. So we sold 6 different products, which is Chocodap in variety white and regular chocolate, Toblerone in dark, regular and white chocolate, and chocolate milkshake in variety chocolate. This is the only drink that we sold. For the cost of 5 product is 5 ringgit, and for chocolate milkshake, the cost is 7 ringgit. The selling price for Chocodap is 12 ringgit, Toblerone 7 ringgit, and chocolate milkshake 14 ringgit. So this is our supplier. The size for Chocodap is 500 gram, Toblerone 100 gram, and chocolate milkshake is 12 bag. So next we are going to look at the total sales by product. We use pie chart to indicate each product sales. From here, we can see the percentage contribute for each product sales. The overall sales of product is 82,059 ringgit. Our most sales product is chocolate milkshake, which is MS01, amounted to RM20,440. It contributes to 25% of the overall sales. MS01 has the highest sales because it has the highest selling price RM40 ringgit per pack compared to other products. Now, we are going to look at the total quantity sold by products. We use bar chart to indicate the quantity sold for each product. The total quantity sold in 2020 is 8,072 units. Customer most favorite product is CJ02, which is Chocodap in variety regular chocolate. It has 1,534 units in 2020. And the least product is TB01, which is Toblerone in dark chocolate, which amounted to 1,027 units. So this is the function we use. This is slicer. The slicer is used to filter pivot table by months, and this is pivot table. It is used to summarize the data, and this is our pivot chart. Next, we will move on to Excel. Here we have two separate pivot tables which indicate the total sales and total quantity sold and their graph. By using slicer that filter months, it will be easier to see each sales and quantity sold of each month. For example, I'm going to filter it by May. All the sales and quantity sold we only show specifically on May. May has total sales of RM8,406 and total quantity sold of 768 units. Now we are going to look at the future prediction of sales. Here is our future prediction sales for each product in 2021 shown in bar graph. By using what-if analysis through Scenario Manager, we assume that each product increased by 1,000 units in 2021. The forecast total sales in 2021 is RM141 and 59. The function we use is what-if analysis scenario manager. It is easier to swap multiple sets of data in a worksheet and even compare them side by side. Now we've moved on to the Excel. Right now, the total sales in 2020 is RM82,059, and this is the unit sold in 2020. Right now, I'm going to use the what-if analysis scenario manager and show. After using the scenario manager, the total quantity sold will increase by 1,000 units each, and this one is the quantity sold in 2020, and this is the forecast sold in 2021, and the total sales change in 2021, which is RM1 141,059. And this is the bar graph that indicate the increase in sales for each product in 2021.
Now I will proceed to customer analysis. As always, I will show the dataset of the customer. This is the customer information we managed together. The first one is the customer ID. The second is name, address, phone number, preferred payment method, type, and email. For there is a 10 different customer and they are all separated by the different customer ID. Next is the customer analysis. In the customer analysis, we have the chart, which is here, and the pivot table, which is here, and some other function. The function I will explain next. Okay. The function we use in this analysis, which is the first one is lookup function. The lookup function is we have two type of lookup function. First one is single condition. The second one is multiple condition. The single condition lookup function is to find the information detail from the customer tree. You can see that from the box here, you can type the customer's ID and then it will show up the detail of the name, email, address, and phone number of this customer. The next one is the multiple condition as lookup. The multiple condition as lookup is to search the customer transaction and their salesman, the people they're dealing with, the product ID, and their quantity. Therefore, if we want to search for the customer too, and what type of payment, usually we use what type of payment because it is easier to remember. So from these two, we can specify which transaction we can search and who are responsible for it. Next is the logical function. From the logical function, we use to find the amount of total sales for every customer. Let's, as shown before, we only have 10 customers, but what if we have the 100,000, 100 or 1,000 customer? Therefore, it is not feasible to use a table to look their quantity sold. Therefore, we use the customer ID to look for a single one. Therefore, it much easier that way. Next is we use also pivot table and the pivot chart to do for our customer analysis. Now I will proceed by customer analysis. Okay, from the table and the graph below, we can see that the total sale is the same with the sale transaction, which is 8,000, 82,000 and 59 ringgit. And the top contributor in 2020 is the customer one, which is Ahmad Adam bin Abdullah. He contribute about to 12% of our sales. That is for the sales analysis. Now I will hand to my partner.
Okay, now let's continue with the salesman analysis. This is our total sales of salesmen of our company in 2020. Our company consists of 5 salesmen, which is Alif, Badri, Fatiha, Nurul and Zulaika. Their average sales on 2020 is about 16,411 ringgit and 80 cents. So from the graph, you can see that their sales for each of the salesmen is quite similar, means there are no domain from each one of them. And the top seller in 2020 is actually Zulaika, which is 18,846 ringgit, the total sales that she get. And her contribution actually about 22.97% from overall sales we get in 2020 for all product we have. So next, this is the function and formula we use to get the analysis of the salesman. First, we use the pivot table, pivot chart together with the slicer. And also we use the statistical function sum to calculate the total sales of the salesman, and also the logical function to determine whether they are entitled for bonus or not. So to see more clearly, we will show you from the Excel. So this is the salesman information, the salesman ID, name, phone number, email, education, branches, and fax number. And this is where we use the function and formula. This is the pivot table, and also the pivot chart. We can change the filter what we want. And this is the slicer, so we can change from each month to see the sale from each of the salesmen for each month. And this is the statistical function we use to calculating the total sales of the salesman. This is sum function and also the sum function to calculating all the sales from the salesman. And this is the logical function if n and if or. If used to determine the salesman will entitle for bonus if their sales are more than 12,000 in a year, and if n if their sales are more than 12,000 and also their percentage of sales are more than 20%, so they will entitle for bonus. Both conditions must be met, and if or, either one of the condition must be met. Whether they get 12,000, their sales are more than 12,000, or their percentage of sales are more than 20%. So this all for me for the salesman analysis. Thank you.
Next, I will continue with branch analysis for Chocodap Enterprise. The overall sales of the company are RM82,059. From the chart, we can see that Selangor branch contributes the highest sales in the year 2020, amounted to RM35,347, which is 43.08% of the total sales of the year. Average sales of the branches are RM27,353. The added function in this analysis are pivot table, pivot chart, and slicer. The reason we use pivot Excel in this analysis is because it helps in summarizing, sorting, and counting data stored in the table in a quick and easy manner. Now, let us take a look at the branch analysis in the Excel. So here are the branches information. Chocodap Enterprise have 3 branches, which are Chocodap Selangor, Chocodap Johor, Chocodap Terengganu. And with the branch ID of SEL1, JDT1, and TRG1. So, Chocodap Selangor is located at Kelang, Selangor, Chocodap Johor at Johor Bahru Johor, and Chocodap Terengganu at Kuala Terengganu. So the manager for Chocodap Selangor is Encik Badrul Hisham bin Ahmad, and manager for Chocodap Johor is Puan Maimunah binti Mardi, and the manager for Chocodap Terengganu is Encik Kamal bin Daud. Now we move to the branch analysis. We have pivot table, pivot chart, and slicer. The pivot table has count, summarizes, and sort the total sales in according to the respective branches, which are JDT1 for Johor, SEL1 for Selangor, and KRG1 for Terengganu. We filter by month and we have column with values of sum of sales and percentage of sales. At the row we have branch ID, salesman, and product ID. If we want to filter sales by branch for month of January, we will filter it here. As we can see in the pivot chart, Terengganu branch contribute the highest sales in the year 2020, in the month of January. Using this pivot table, we can also see the salesmen under the branch and the sales contribute by them. For example, for JDT1, the salesmen are Badri and Nurul. We can see that when we make changes in the pivot table, the pivot chart will also change to reflect the new information in the pivot table. Like this example, in the pivot chart, it shows sales by Badri and Nurul. Therefore, pivot chart created will be based on the data in the respective pivot table. Other than pivot table and pivot chart, slicer also is used in this analysis. We choose product ID slicer so that we can quickly and easily filter the sales of each type of products according to the branches. Cocoa milkshake with product ID MS01 have the highest sales in Chocodap Enterprise. Now, we want to know the sales of cocoa milkshake for each branch. By referring to pivot chart, we can see that Johor branch contributes the highest sales of cocoa milkshake. We can also filter more than one type of product. The company have Cocoa Jar with two different chocolate flavor, which is white chocolate with product ID CG01 and regular chocolate with product ID CG02. Now, we want to know the sales of Cocoa Jar for both type of chocolate. As we can see in the chart, Selangor branch contributes the highest sales of Cocoa Jar for both type of chocolate. Therefore, since pivot table, pivot chart, and slicer are linked together, branch analysis can be conducted easily and quickly.
Now we are going to look at the overall company performance. In this slide, I'm going to explain the summary of our company performance. First thing first is sales trend. We have sales trend in line graph. The highest sale is in May, which is amounts of sale is RM8,406. This is our peak months where many customers buy from us. The first factor of increasing sales in May is due to CMCO, Conditional Movement Control Order, and the second factor is because of upcoming festive season, Fitri during that time. And we have the lowest sales is in October, which is amounted to RM4,858. Next, we are going to look at the sales by product. This is our pie chart. We have the highest sale is MS01, which is RM20,440. And we'll also have sales quantity by product. This is our bar graph. And the highest quantity sold is by CJ02, which is 1,524 units that is sold. Next, we are going to look at the sales by branch. Selangor has the highest sales, which is amounted to RM35,347. And this is sales by salesman that is shown in the bar graph, and Zulaika achieved the highest sales. Zulaika is the salesman in our Terengganu branch. And the amount sales that she achieved is 18,846. Next is the sales by customer. We have the highest sales by customer CO01 amounted to RM 9,920, and we have the lowest sales by customer CO06, which amounted to RM 6,564. Thus, our company performance is good since it's achieved our minimum target sales RM 80,000 in 2020. Even though we go through some challenges in 2020, we still managed to overcome it by having improved marketing strategy to attract more customers to buy our product. Overall, sales in 2020 achieved its goals. Moving on, we are going to look at the Excel. So this is our overview of dashboard and the overall company performance. We are using the filter to easily indicate which month, branch, salesman, and product we want to see. For example, I'm going to filter it by June, branch ID JDT1. Now we can only see the sales which indicate the month of June and branch ID JDT1 which is Johor. So now we are going to see the sales trend of June, which is the sum of sale is 2,505 ringgit, and this is the sales of by branch, which is Johor, and this is sales by Badri and Nurul, which is the salesman for Johor branch, and this is the sales by product in Johor, which is TB03, TB02, and CJ02. And this is the sales quantity by product, which is CJ02 have 60 units, TB02 have 185 units, and TB03 has 70 units. And this is our sales by customer.
And the last part for this presentation is the conclusion. The conclusion are, by using sales analysis, the sales trend can be obtained to help the company plan the quantity of each product required to meet the demand. Product analysis helps the company to know which products that consumers like the most. Customer analysis allows the company to know the loyal customers and can provide better service to them. The performance of each salesman can be obtained under the salesman analysis. Branch analysis helps the company to identify the profitable location for the construction of new branches in the future. Based on the analysis done, it can be concluded that the company's performance is in a good condition and has the potential to grow in the future. In the year 2021, the company is expected to increase the sales of each product by 1,000 units. And that's all from us. Thank you.